Welcome to our first training presentation. My name is Dr. Saqib Chowdhury and our first topic is risk-based quality management or RBQM. Today we are looking at how to transform pharmaceutical excellence using ICH Q9 framework. Whether you are in GMP, GCP or GLP, the goal is same, moving from a reactive compliance to proactive quality leadership. By the end of this session, you will be equipped to do four things. First, you'll grasp the core principles of RBQM. Second, you will master the methodology behind risk assessment. Third, you will learn how to integrate these strategies across GXP environment. And finally, we'll explore how to cultivate a proactive quality culture that sustain these improvements. Let's start by understanding why the old ways are failing us. Traditional quality management often takes a one-size-fits-all approach. It treats every process and issue with equal priority. The result, you end up with insufficient resource allocation, burying your team in documentation-heavy procedures that drive up cost without adding proportional value. Now, this approach is fundamentally reactive, or what we call as a knee-jerk reaction. We focus on detecting and correcting errors after the fact, after they have happened. Worse yet, without a systemic way to prioritize, we often miss critical risks that actually threaten patient safety or product quality. RBQM bridges this gap and moves away from being reactive to being proactive. It prioritizes high-impact risk, ensuring that our limited time, budget, and personnel are directed where they matter most. It shifts our focus from putting out fires to preventing them, which significantly enhances patient safety and product quality. Now let's come to what happens when we fail to manage risk. The consequences can be catastrophic. Consider this cautionary tale. A pharmaceutical company released a vital cardiovascular drug. Despite routine checks, an impurity from a new, inadequately qualified supplier entered the supply chain. Their existing assessment focused only on established vendors and failed to anticipate this new threat. The impact was a massive global recall, regulatory warning letters, and a financial loss exceeding $500 million. Now tell me one thing. Would RBQM have prevented this? Yes, definitely. A proactive RBQM approach would have mandated a thorough risk assessment of the new supplier before onboarding. Continuous risks review would have triggered tighter controls, preventing the release of compromised product and safeguarding the patient and the company both. Now let's take a deep dive into the risk assessment methodology. It comprises of four pillars: identify risk, analyze impact, evaluate priority, control, and monitor. Now step 1, identify risk. We ask ourselves, what could go wrong? What are the scenarios which could lead to something actually going wrong? So forget about the probability at this minute. We have to just figure out what are the different scenarios that can go wrong. And we use tools like brainstorming, FMEA, historical data, public domain information, and come up with all of the possible scenarios, possible what's, and we write them down. Step 2, we analyze the impact. Now this is where we talk about likelihood, and so likelihood is how probable this is, and severity. What are the consequences? How severe are the consequences? So we create a matrix of probability versus severity, and that's where we talk about low, medium, and high risk, and then people have divided it into very simple 9-grid chart to a very complex one as well, but it depends on organization to organization. But the key thing is to define your probability and your severity, and then your low, medium, high risk, and then analyze the impact in that scenario. Step 3, we evaluate the priority. We compare the analyzed risk against our acceptance criteria. If a risk has a high likelihood and a severe impact, that would always get an immediate priority. Senior management should be involved to decide on appropriate actions. Whereas if you have something which has a low likelihood and low impact, do we even need to do anything about it? So that's a decision to take. But these are the things that would help us determine what our priority would look like. And finally, we go into control and monitor. We implement strategies to reduce these risks like SOPs, training, automation, quality checks. And we don't just walk away after putting these things. Rather, we have an oversight. We continue to monitor the key risk indicators to ensure that our controls are working. When we get this right, the results are transformative. Companies see a 40% reduction in quality incidents and significantly improved patient safety. Operationally, we see up to a 30% reduction in rework time as well. But let me emphasize here, tools aren't enough. We need to create a risk-aware culture. This starts with leadership commitment. Leaders must walk the talk. It requires psychological safety where employees feel safe reporting near misses without fear of blame. And it requires continuous learning to keep our skills sharp. Now, how do we measure the success? How do we know whether the changes in the controls we have put in place are working? Simple. We track KPIs. We look for reduction in deviations, faster product release time, successful regulatory inspection, and we look at the financial metrics, specifically the cost avoidance from risk mitigation. If all of them are working in our favor, that means our controls and oversight is working. Finally, your journey starts today by reviewing these materials, engaging with your working groups, implementing these controls. You will be moving your organization towards pharmaceutical excellence. Let's transform from reactive compliance to proactive quality leadership. Thank you. Take care, and if you have any questions, put those in the comment box and I'll try to answer them, and there will be a detailed training on RBQM coming soon as well. Thank you and bye.